Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Ashley and I'm so happy that you're here. So in this video, we are doing something a little different this week. I am going to be doing a spoilery reading vlog, as you can tell from the title, on Fourth Wing. Now, I have put off reading this book. I actually bought it on my Kindle during the summertime when I saw it getting a lot of attention and everybody was talking about it. I happened to get an alert that it was on sale in the Amazon Kindle store. So I scooped it up and it has sat on my Kindle. But me and my bestie Jenna have decided to buddy read this together because Rebecca Yarros is going to be an author at a Polycon that we are attending next year, and we want to get this read. Now, let me just go into this by saying I tend to stay away from overly hyped things. I like to let the hype die down before I dive headfirst into whatever the media is. Fourth Wing is not dying down. She's not going away. And from what I have witnessed on social media, it's one of those books where you either love or you hate. And honestly, I don't know where I'm going to fall in that. I'm the queen of staying away from spoilers, and I have not been spoiled for anything that has happened in this book. If you don't want to be spoiled, go read Fourth Wing and then come back whenever you're done and let me know your thoughts. Oh wow, I didn't realize this book is 664 pages, Kindle length. I'm very happy that I'm reading this with somebody because I have found that when I do buddy reads on, I don't want to say books I'm not excited to jump in, but books that I'm hesitant to jump in, it makes it the reading experience a little easier. So yeah, stay tuned to know what I think about Fourth Wing as I work my way through it. It has been a couple of days since I started this video. I actually did not start reading the book until like 2 days after I filmed that intro. I have made it to 12% and I am taking my time because it has been a hot little minute since I've read a fantasy, and I just didn't want to make sure that I wasn't missing anything and I was paying more attention than what I do when I read romance. So I am in the 4th chapter. I'm pretty sure we're going off my brain memory here, but I wanted to give my initial thoughts. So my expectations, I have been trying to manage them so I don't overhype it in my head because the hype that is getting everywhere else. We started off and we have met Violet Sorrengail, and we find out that all of her life, or whenever you start school, she has been trained to be a scribe because her mother feels like no Sorrengail child could be anything other than a dragon rider. That this, what we have been made to believe, frail, sickly child woman is being forced basically to become a dragon rider. And initially, I didn't really know how I felt about the mother, like pushing her child into this future that she knows she could very well die in very easily. I still don't know how I feel about her mother. I don't like her, but I don't want to say that I hate her because I feel like there's more there. My friend Jenna made a good point. Violet's mother seems to be the only person who is pushing her to being more than, or to step out of her comfort zone and to have a little more confidence in herself to be able to do more than what her physical disability makes her feel like she might be able to do. Hopefully that makes sense. I do like her sister Mira. I like her for one. She has somebody who's like looking out for her. It came down to a matter of, okay, you're going to be thrown into this life, so let me try to equip you in the best way that I can. And then we get to the great crossing over into becoming a cadet, and Violet gets the warning to stay away from Xaden. Of course, the first man is the man that she's supposed to stay away and absolutely hates her guts. That part was a struggle for me to read just because, like, there was so much waxing poetic on the way this man looks that by the end of the paragraph, I was like, okay, girl, we get it. He's hot. What's going on? I immediately liked how Violet and Rhiannon formed this bond. Now, what I did not like and did not expect, this Jake character, the one who was basically running after her on during the crossing, and that was just basically going to throw her down into a 200-foot drop. I have found the character in this book that I want to die faster than any other person in this book, because just mean for no reason. So yeah, didn't like that, was not a fan. I loved that once they got to the other side, Violet stood up for herself. So yeah, she makes the crossing, and then she is in the area where all the new cadets who are in school to be a dragon rider are there. And she finds her family friend, Dane. And I do like Dane for now. Being in Violet's head as of right now, it really does seem like she needs somebody who's going to say, yes, it's going to be 10 times harder than it could for anybody else, but that does not mean you're not capable. Of course, Dane is not going to be that person. I don't like the babying. I'm of the mindset of just like, let her figure it out. Help her, but let her figure it out. But that is my update at 12%. I'll probably come back after I get to like 25 or 30%. That's what I'm thinking. Okay, I know that I said I would have nothing more to say until I made it to 30%, but I just had to hop on here and say, Jack or Jake, whatever that man's name is that's just killing people off all willy-nilly, he needs to go. I need an explanation. Like, why does he feel the need to murder everybody? And I know, like, there has to be a threat. But could the threat not be so unhinged? And let's talk about our girl for a second. Miss Violet, I know before I was kind of like, I wish Dane would like kind of support her and just, you know, say it may be hard, but you'll still be able to do it. After she got her arm snapped, it's like, just take the out. My feelings from when I've started the book to where I am now, which I think is like 15%. So I didn't read very much last night. From what I did read, it just made me feel like how are you going to make me believe that this girl is strong enough to do what she is able to do when all you keep telling me is that she is weak? Now, I will just say she is weak-bodied. She's not weak-minded. So there is that. Like, she doesn't want to concede when she should. You know, she held her own when her knee was messed up, trying to make it seem like there was nothing wrong. She did fight against Dane about being mended when she was taken to the healer. So, I mean, like, she has a strong will, and I guess that's all you need to be a hero. I have made it to about 30% of Fourth Wing, and I do have thoughts. Just where do I want to start with these thoughts? That's the real question. I guess I could start with Violet and my feelings about our female main character. I'm still at the place where I want to like her. And there are times when I really like root for her, but then there are times when I look at her and I'm like, girl, what are we doing? My admiration grew for her in the places where she was like getting berries and different things in nature that she could use to her benefit. Um, the tactics that she used to climb the gauntlet and to pass that, her throwing daggers at Jack. I think that's his name. I think I've been calling him Jake this whole time, but Jack. Really, anytime that she stands up to Dane, trying to get her to leave the writer's quadrant, admiration for her there. Where she drives a pick knife through my nerves is she gets like this nature stuff, berries, roots, mushrooms, whatever, to help her in the challenges. But we don't use the two good brain cells God gave us to think if every person I come up against in a challenge gets sick, somebody is going to notice and maybe draw a conclusion that she has something to do with these other cadets getting sick right before they're supposed to fight her or spar with her. The other thing that drives me absolutely insane are these like descriptions of Xaden. She actually says it should be in the code of conduct handbook that somebody cannot look as good as he does. What are we doing? So I've brought up Dane and Xaden. Let me just tackle those two. Dane, I have been going back and forth since the beginning of this book about how I feel about him, but right now I'm just pissed. Dane is a danger for Violet. Him consistently telling her or trying to get her to leave the writer's quadrant, telling her that she's weak, making her feel weak. And now this Amber chick who just pops up at the gauntlet out of nowhere, it's conveniently slid in that she was Dane's best friend last year, like coming at Violet, calling her a cheater, like because of how she, gets through the gauntlet. I think he's more of a hindrance than anything. Like, she has now been here almost 3 months, and you are still trying to get her to leave instead of just saying, let me give you the confidence to make it through your first year, second year, third year, graduate. Like, why are we still going behind our best friend's back to get her to leave this place? Like, bro, just be a friend. You're being a bro right now, and we don't like that. We do not love that for you. Xaden, I could really like him more than where I am right now if the whole enemies to lover situation didn't jump on the path to lover so fast. And like, no, they're not together at this point in the book. But when we first meet Xaden, before Violet does her crossing, you can really feel that he hates Violet with everything in him. But then the moment these two are alone and nobody else is around, it's like there's no hate there. Like there is zero hate there. Don't even get me started on the scene where Violet and Xaden are sparring and Xaden reveals that he knows her secret of poisoning everybody, and she's like, oh, he knows my secret. And it's like, girl, anybody with a brain knows your secret. I don't really know what I am feeling about Xaden, and I think there's room to grow. I'm sure that he will become the swoon-worthy main male character. What I am very curious for is how Dane is going to act when Violet and Xaden get together, because clearly that is the path we are walking on right now. A couple of notable things. The setup of the gauntlet is clearly like a copy of American Ninja Warrior. Like, that's just how I pictured it, except just scaling up instead of like a straight path. I'm not mad at it. I like American Ninja Warrior. We are now doing the presentation day where all the candidates walk through by the dragons. The dragons get a sense of the candidates. The candidates get to see the dragons that are there. So I think that's all that I have to update you on as far as what I'm feeling. I am going to take my Kindle with me when I work my part-time job tonight, and I'll hopefully have another update for you all. Maybe 50%. That would be nice. Okay, I'm back with another update. 2 in 1 day. I love it when that happens. Quite a bit has happened. Um, I think where I left you, Violet had just completed the gauntlet, and the cadets have walked through the presentation. Violet's little section has lost 2 more cadets. We get an interaction between Violet and dragons, which does not seem like something that happens very often. So we get through the presentation, and then we get to the threshing, where our cadets go out and try to be paired with a dragon. Imagine my surprise when our special girl doesn't only pair with one dragon, but she pairs with 2 of the most rare dragons. She paired with the little weakling dragon, but she also paired with the most powerful dragon, most legendary, has not shown up in years dragon. And neither one of these dragons at the beginning of their semester or what have you had even declared to pair with riders for the year. I'm hoping to get R. Do I have confidence? I do not, but I am hoping that I at least get to 50%. If I get to 50%, I think I would be happy. If I got to 65%, I would be ecstatic. Okay, it has been a few days since my last update on Fourth Wing. I have officially hit the 70% mark, and I'm pretty sure the last time I updated, I was in like the 40s. So obviously a lot has happened. Let me first start off by saying that I can understand why this book has become the phenomenon that it has. I can understand why people love it and why everybody wants to talk about it. And I can say that I am enjoying myself. I think people who are used to reading fantasy and who read a lot of fantasy expect more. And then people who are like new to fantasy or that like fantasy with the romantic subplots, and that's a little more easier to like consume. I am in that category, but I can see why those people absolutely love this book. There are things that has frustrated me with this story. So, let's just get into it. Violet, I like her. I like that she wants to overcome every obstacle that's placed in her way. I think the self-loathing gets to be a bit much. I would like for her to allow herself time to adjust and learn, even though I know in the writer's quadrant, you don't really have that luxury because you're consistently worrying about how you're going to die, when you're going to die, like if you can make to the next round of whatever craziness that has gone on. Dain, him kissing her after the bonding of the dragons or what have you, out of line, out of order. How he acted toward her when he found out that his little rule-abiding friend was not so rule-abiding, out of order. Just how he's treating her because of her relationship with Xaden, that she had no choice. Like, she has no other choice. Both of their dragons are bonded. What more do you expect for her to do? I do not like Dain. I am fearful for how this book is going to end. I know there's supposed to be a cliffhanger ending, but I'm scared of how he is going, like what his final betrayal is going to be, because I think we're going to see it. Everything is hunky-dory right now just because Violet's sister has gotten his ass about how he's acting when he is wanting to be in a position of leadership, he's not going to be able to handle seeing Violet happy outside of him. I just don't think that we've seen the most egregious thing that Dain can possibly do. Xaden, he is not bad in my book. I'll just leave it there. What I wish we could see from him, though, is his true feelings for Violet. And I think the way that they are communicating now, that may come out, but that's still fairly new in where I'm at in the book. But I just want to know how they're going to make me believe that he really likes her and is not just keeping her alive for his sake. Violet did just get her signet power, which I like the lightning. I think that is pretty damn cool. But I'm wondering when and if she's ever going to be able to use the time thing without being punished. Jack is dead. Praise the book gods that Jack is dead. Now, the only other thing that I may write about is if something happens to Liam. Liam does not deserve anything but all the best things. What I found in this book is that I seem to like all the side characters more than the main characters that are being shoved in our throats. What you cannot take away from this book is something is always happening. There's only so much special that a main character can have before the reader is like, how many more opportunities are you going to give this person to be everything? Hopefully I'll wrap this up, either if not tonight, tomorrow. Fingers crossed. At like 85% into this book, what I can tell you is I've had a range of emotions since my last update. And I keep going back and forth because as of right now, I feel like this book is sitting at like a 3.5 for me because I'm purely entertained. I really am. But I had to like talk this out and think about it with myself really of like, is this book giving us like the disability rep that, you know, we all scream for? I think where I have settled is that it is supposed to be disability rep. I don't know if that's how Rebecca Yarros wrote it or planned for it to be perceived, but in my eyes, that's how I'm seeing it. And it's very, when I look at it that way, it's easier for me to understand all the people who are like coddling her and like really, really wanting to protect her from the world. I'm saying this as an able-bodied person, so I don't know exactly if that's what this is or if I'm just reading too much into it. When Professor Carr is training her on her like signet power, and he's talking about like the balance and how things balance out because she is so frail, and she ends up bonding with the strongest dragon, and she of course gets a power that's super rare and hasn't been seen in centuries. This is the balance writing itself, I guess, which, you know what, fine, I can accept that. That's okay. The other thing is, and I know this is a hot topic, but we have got to figure out how to classify spicy books. I'm just gonna set realistic expectation from somebody who can handle and read quite a bit. Fourth Wing is not super spicy. So far there have been 2 explicit sex scenes. There are, you know, talks about sex, and we don't use goofy nicknames for our genitals. But if I had to give like 1 out of 5 chili pepper rating for Fourth Wing right now, you are looking at one chili pepper. The two don't even kiss until like 60%. And no sexy time happens until I think after 70%. I should say for me, this is not super spicy. If you're not used to reading spice, if you're not used to reading sex on page, then okay, fair. This could be spicy to you. My only critique on the spice in this book, and I never critique spice because I know how hard it is to write those scenes. This entire book, we have been told that Violet is fragile. Violet is weak. Violet bruises easily. So when we have our first sex scene and Xaden is pretty much throwing homegirl around, I use throwing very loosely, he's not throwing her around, but he's not gentle with her, and things that, like, if say they would have been fighting and she hit an armoire, I feel like she would have had to go to the infirmary behind that. But when sex is involved, it's nothing, right? I don't know. Maybe I'm being a little too picky, or maybe I'm being just picky enough. Okay, I just finished my lunch, and I also finished Fourth Wing. I am finally at the point where I am probably going to start like watching videos of people who have read Fourth Wing and seeing their reactions, reading some other reviews. And before I did that, I wanted to make sure that I captured my final thoughts and feelings on the book before anybody else's influence can cloud my judgment. I can say that I did like this book. Is it a 5-star read for me? No. Did I like this for what it gave me? Yes. My current rating right now in my brain, I'm going back and forth between a 3.5 and a 4-star. Everything that I have heard is that the ending is like spectacular, or the best part of the book. I did not like the battle scene at all. I think that a character died that was a terrible use of a character death. I think this battle proved to me that Violet does not belong on the front lines, and that, as long as she can wield her power away from a fight, she doesn't need to be in hand-to-hand combat. Again, I think I said this earlier in the video, I understand why the girlies went up for this book. I get it. It held my attention. It is action-packed from the beginning to the end. There in the last probably 30%, like, I found myself like flying through the pages. I wanted to know what was going on. I feel like because I did not have my expectations so high, that I'm happy with what I've read. But it was a good book. I will give it that. I'm not going to say this book was trash, because it's not. I am not sold on it being a good idea that Violet's brother was brought back to life, story-wise, because I feel like it just takes away the integrity of what was driving her. And the fact that she was so upset with the little hidden secrets, imagine how upset I would be if you knew a family member that I have been thinking this whole time was dead and you did not tell me. That is when I would be upset. The other thing that I wanted to say is that the dragons were everything in this book, for sure. Not just because they're everything to the people of this book, but they made the book. I enjoyed reading about the dragons. Violet, I think she did make a strong female main character, even though she was quite annoying. It's something about being in one person's head for so long that if they continue to harp on one specific thing, I can see how annoying that becomes. And I struggle with even calling that annoying because we as humans think about things over and over and over again. Dain, death. That man deserves nothing but death. Give me his death. If I read book 2 and that man does not die, there is nothing that will redeem Dain in my eyes. Xaden, I liked him by the end of the book. I think there was a point where after her first kill and Dain was trying to be like, oh, you don't ever have to kill again. Like, bitch, wake up. Do you know where you are? You have to kill. Quit telling her that. And the fact that Xaden stepped in and was like, please stop coddling her. He didn't say please, but stop coddling her because she has to survive. Like, this is a part of being a writer. You will have to kill or be killed. He is the only person in this story that did not handle her with kid gloves. And she needed that. She needed somebody who could say, no, you can handle this. Use your brain. Use your body to the fullest extent. Train. Do whatever you can to help yourself. Okay, yeah, you may need a little extra, help here and there, but you are capable of doing more than what the people in your life have encouraged you to do. I think those are my final thoughts. If you've read it, let me know in the comments what you thought about this book. Be nice, of course. We're not here to bash authors. We're not here to bash people who enjoyed this. I enjoyed this. But I think I'm going to end this here. Thank you so much for watching. Like, subscribe, and share. Like I said, leave me a comment if you read this book. Let me know what you thought, what you rated it. If you did not read this book and you have no intentions of reading this book, leave me a dragon emoji or a fire emoji, either one of those, if you made it to the end of this video, and I will see you all in my next one. Bye.